Okay, I'm back. Yes, I'm still sick. It's crazy. My eyes are all red and my nose is running. Okay, well, that's my life right now. I feel like I get rid of something like I think I had COVID a lot. Well, I did. I got tested. Duh. Um, and then something else appears. Some people haven't even gotten it. It's crazy. My immune system is really weak though because I don't go out that often as it is. I'm like a homebody. So, yeah, I'm just exposed to like a few little germs here and there, and it's like, boom. Okay, so I was going to do a part two of the haunted, that show, and I found out some good stuff, so I'll do that later in bed. And what else? I have an interview it's already finished, that's been done like a long time ago, and I have to edit that and put that up. I have some video clips too that are really good. Okay, what else? I had one set up, but I got sick and I couldn't follow through. So I'm kind of bummed about that. And usually when that happens, the other person's like, well, fuck you then. And then it's hard to get them back to want to be interviewed. And I know that most people here don't really care about my interviews. And so I'm not really sweating it that badly, even though I really wanted to interview him. But yeah, I think me just talking about what's going on in the celebrity news is what people want to hear. And usually, certain stories I'm gravitated towards. Most of the time, I don't give a shit. But then there's times like this, I'm like, okay, Cooper Hefner defends late dad Hugh Hefner ahead of Secrets of Playboy show. I didn't know that was going to be a show. My father was not a liar. Does Playboy even have a magazine, or is it just like digital? I don't even know. Speaking his mind, Cooper Hefner defended his late father. He looks so much like his dad. I'm gonna have to put that picture up, I guess. But here's the picture. They look. Actually, no. Yeah, he has his chin. Maybe he looks like his dad when he was younger. I'll put it up again so you can look at it. Yeah. I never was a fan of Hugh Hefner. I just wasn't. I always thought he was kind of sleazy. And I knew the makeup artist for that magazine. And she wanted me to audition. So I went to the Playboy building. It's on Hollywood Boulevard. Yeah. Um, so they took some Polaroids or what have you. And I just didn't get that call. I didn't want to do it. It's weird. Not weird, but okay, I think I was 18 at the time, 18, 19. And we were living in LA I was living with Ronnie and Mandy. And I didn't want anyone to see me in a magazine. You know what I mean? I didn't want my sister's husband, who collected Playboys, to see me in the magazine. And I had moved back. I went to college, and so I was going to be in the college edition. But I moved back for a while. That's when I was living with Ronnie and Mandy. I took some time off because I was like, I got to get back to LA. I can't. I'll come back. I always thought I'll come back, and I did. But I don't know. I just was afraid that everyone would see it. So I was like, fuck this. I don't want to have my brother in law jerking off to me in the bathroom. That's weird. And so I didn't do it. I got the call. Ronnie said, oh, so and so from Playboy called. And he's like, you're not going to do that, are you? I'm like, he's like, that would be awesome. He goes, all my boys would be coming over just to see you and all this shit. I said, no, I'm not doing it. No, there's no way. I wasn't going to be a centerfold. I was just going to be in the college edition. And And so I said, don't, I'm not going to call him back. I can't do this. Now I look back, I'm like, I probably should have done it because I ended up doing this other magazine that was this kind of artistic. I think it was called Ooey. And I only know that because Sheila told me that. You know, Sheila, Penthouse Sheila, love her. She goes, oh, it was a we, I think. I'm like, yeah, that's true. It was probably a we. Okay, so everyone fucking saw it. Even though it was like not raunchy at all, it was just me naked. And yes, I had a big bush. Very embarrassing. I didn't know when I was 18. This, everyone has to remember that this was like the late 80s, 90s. I didn't know that you were supposed to trim it up like that until I started doing bikini modeling. But on that shoot in particular, I just didn't know, you know, and they didn't tell me that. I think they liked it, you know, the photographer and the set or, you know, organizer or what have you. There was like three people there. There was the makeup artist, the one that set up the scene, and then the photographer. And I brought my friend Mandy with me. And even though we were like 18, they were giving us champagne to, you know, chill us out. And it was kind of before and after. There was me in like cut off shorts with my hair up in a ponytail, no makeup, kind of like I am now, but without the ponytail and the cut off shorts. But we needed the money. Me and Mandy were kind of struggling all the time. And I have to do some like me and Mandy stories, you know, just story time about me and Mandy. And I should try to get her to come on. I don't know if she would. Um, that would be fun. That would be so much fun. I didn't even think of that. Me and Mandy. I should write a book just about me and Mandy in LA. Because we have some stories. Ooh, some stories. Old school Hollywood, too. Okay, so we went to the shoot. It was at like an industrial area. It was in a warehouse in the valley, of course. And they were giving us champagne. And the makeup artist was amazing. I didn't even look like the same person, though everyone could tell it was me, obviously. But my hair was like enormous. It just still is. I still have big hair. It's still big and curly. I just never got. I'm just lazy, as you know. I'm just a lazy woman, and I don't want hair extensions. I don't want to. Sometimes I'll straighten my hair. I used to straighten it more often. Now I'm just like whatever, you know. Just I just feel like if someone's gonna like me, they're gonna like me exactly the way I am. And unless somebody specifically wants something different for like a photo shoot, then I'll do that. But otherwise, I'm gonna let my hair do what it wants to do. And yeah, back then it was worse though because I didn't have grays yet. And once you start getting gray hair, I did my grays, but it's so funny because my sister, you know, fucked with me, and then I had that big, huge gray stripe right here. And yeah, so my hair is really affected by stress. And sometimes I don't get grays at all, just randomly. I'll get like random grays. But once you go gray, your hair, the texture is never the same again. And so it's not as big and curly as it used to be. So I had this big ass, dark, curly hair. And then she did my eyes to bring out the green because they're kind of like a hazel green. So it depends on the lighting and what have you. Um, like in the sun, that you could tell that they're super green, or certain lighting they're really green. But like right now they're not. You know, it just my eyes change. But with the makeup, she outlined my eyes and did the smoky eye, and I mean I didn't even recognize myself. And so they had this really cool set that was kind of, I guess, what people will call romantic. I don't know if it still is, but like with the you know, the carpeting, and you know, the throw, what is that, the fluffy rug, and like a fire or something. I can't remember what the set was, but it was very like, but dark, but like romantic, but old school romantic. I don't know what romantic is considered now, what people consider that romantic. I think people still do. Oh my god. And it was so much fun, actually. I don't know if it was the champagne or that my friend was with me, but she didn't watch, you know, that would have been weird. She was like on the other side of the wall, and I could hear her laughing, and she's like, "You go, girl." And, you know, it was like, it was so much fun. She was supposed to get that, she was supposed to get that photo shoot, and I went with her. And I think I wrote about this in my book that is supposed to be coming out soon. Okay, so in the book, we're sitting at Giorgio's pizza place in the, no, it's not in the valley. It's in, yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, it's off Ventura Boulevard in the valley, and it was our favorite place to go every time we went out and we had some money. We'd go to Giorgio's. If we were in town or if we lived there, we'd go, let's go to Giorgio's. And we'd just get a pizza and split it and each get a Coke. And if we were really lucky, if we had money, we would get, you know, some pasta, what have you, some raviolis. But that's where we kind of did our business. And they had my headshot up on the wall because they did that with everyone. Any actress that would go in or actor, they would just be like, oh, you want us to put your headshot up? I was like, okay. So they were really cool. I think they're closed down now, but you can look it up, Giorgio's. I think it's Studio City, actually. Okay, so we go to Giorgio's, and we just hang out, eat a pizza. Sometimes if we're really broke, like a small pizza, and we would talk shop. And she said, oh, God, she goes, I have this in the valley at World Modeling. They want me to do some, I think it was Polaroids. It was back then. It was all about Polaroids. Do some Polaroids for the shoot, for this magazine, but I'd have to be naked, and my parents are Catholic, and they would kill me. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm like, you can't do that. I was like, but they're not gonna. I'm like, they're probably not gonna see it. She goes, I don't know. My brothers, they might see it, and they might tell my parents. And at that time, she wasn't living with them anyways. There were some problems, and so she goes, well, I'm just going to go and audition and see what happens because they pay well. I'm like, all right, let's go, you know? And so I go, you were going to be in so much trouble, though, if they find out. She goes, well, I'm an adult now. They can't really tell me to do shit. I'm like, true, you know? Yeah, I just wouldn't want to see you get in trouble. I said, but yeah, that'd be awesome because, you know, nobody would know. You know, you would get this money and nobody would really know because I've never heard of this magazine. It's not like it's Playboy or Penthouse. Or what is the other one? I don't know. But there was some like famous magazines, obviously. And that wasn't one of them. I said, oh, well, nobody's going to see it. Sorry, like I said, I'm still sick. So we go there to the audition. And there's other girls there, what have you. And it's a very sleazy, like 70s sleaze, old school decor. It's World Modeling. I don't know if they still have that same decor, but yeah, it was like velvet couches and like it just did. Yeah, it was like bow chicka bow wow, bow chicka bow wow. You know, it was pictures all over the walls and porn, and it was like, yeah, very 70s. It was kind of cool though. It was like, this is like going back in time to a different era where, you know, it was all about like pictures, magazines, you know, it wasn't, the porn was like movies, you know, the porn was like a movie, and there were certain actresses that would only do porn, and they'd make a lot of money, they'd be famous for it. And now it's like everything's porn, and it's total raunch, like, you know, it's not the same. So we walk in and we're just hanging out and we're like looking at the walls, you know, and this lady walks up to us and she's like, okay, you guys, come in the room. And there's this one little room that had a bed and a dresser in it, I think. Yeah, it was a dresser. And I don't know what, I guess that's where they did the porn. I don't know what. I have no idea. It was the weirdest thing. It wasn't an office. It was just a bedroom. Yeah. And so she's like, okay, you guys, she started taking pictures of Mandy. And then she's like, let me see your tits, to Mandy. And I was like, I'm turning around. I don't know. You know, we see our friends' tits. We do. We get changed, you get naked. But in that situation, it's super weird, you know? So I'm just like, I'm just going to turn around. And then I said, I'm not even auditioning. She goes, let me see your tits. I said, I'm not gonna show you my tits. I was all like prude and shy, and she kind of walks towards me and grabs my tits and feels them. She fills me up, basically. I'm like, hi. And she's like, oh, they're real. She's, oh my God, you have real tits. She goes, they're really nice. And she's like, let me see them. And Mandy's like, oh, just let her see him, you know? She's like, so I just like, went like that. And then she like took a Polaroid of me, of my tits. Don't ask me why I went along with it. I was young. I was just like, somebody likes my tits. They just got them in. I really did. I just grew tits. And I was like, oh, cool. I just grew some tits. So yeah, whatever. And so she chose me. And I think Mandy got something else, but she turned it down. I think she realized, like, no, I'm not doing this. So I got this job, and back then it was like $700, and that was a lot of money to us. So we're like, oh, fuck yeah, let's do it, you know? So I did it, and I had so much fun. I didn't think anybody would see it, and I didn't think anyone would see it because a year went by. I think it was a year, maybe 6 months. Seems things took a long time, much longer back then. Now, if you did that, it would be on straight away. And it was basically really classy pictures. If nudity was artistic back in the day, me and Sheila had talked about that. In fact, I want to get her back on my show. Yeah, she was on Big Brother, but she was also in Penthouse, and she was a Penthouse pet, and I think she was dating or engaged to or married to the owner of Penthouse. I don't know, but she's amazing, beautiful, and so yeah, we should talk about the old school. But yeah, it was classy. It was just me, no simulation, no toys, nothing weird. You couldn't even see my cooch because it was covered by hair, a bush. I'm still embarrassed by that. To this day, I'm like, oh my God, why didn't he tell me? Because he wanted it to be very 70s chic, you know, like, ooh, you know, whatever. I think they should bring back the bush. Yeah, I do. I I think that a woman should look like a woman and not like a 12-year-old. You know, I don't like that everyone's like bald now. It's weird. Uh, yeah, whatever. So I had a good time, and we had fun, and we got drunk off champagne, and we hung out, and he had like, you know, sandwiches and treats, and I think we got stoned too. I can't even remember if he had weed. I'm sure he did. He was that type that had weed. And the makeup artist, I was just like, you are amazing. I love you. I don't even look like myself. She would show me some tricks on how to do my makeup. And I'm like, because I didn't really wear makeup very often. I still don't. And I still don't know how to do my makeup. Okay, so I didn't think anyone would see it. I go back to college, and then I come back. I come back again. Someone's calling in. I don't like when that happens. Hold on one second. I'm just gonna tell this person I'm doing a video. I'm doing a video. Okay. And yeah, I come back to town where I, you know, kind of lived, not really, I never stayed there for very long because of my sister. You know, it was always like, she was all consuming, my sister. It was all about her 24/7, every day, all day. And so I didn't want to be around that. And she was verbally abusive. She yelled a lot. She was bossy and bitchy and demanding and, ugh, you know. So I was like, I don't want to go home. So I avoided home at all costs. Like ever since I moved out when I was like 14, 15, I was like, I'm out of here. And then I would come home. I would stay for a while. Then I would leave again. It was her. Let me see. Okay, so I came home. We would start going to parties with me and Mandy. We were like, oh, let's go to, you know, let's go hang out and be like kids still. You know, let's be young again, even though we were still really young. We were like 18. And I didn't know why, but I was getting a lot of attention from the boys, and there really was no reason for it. I mean, I'll show you pictures. I wasn't that cute, you know. I was like a little chubby, I had on my baby fat still, but I tried to wear like sexy clothes. You know how those women that they'll try to wear skinny jeans, but their fat's hanging over the skinny jeans. And I'm not blasting them. Like, good God, to have that confidence is a good thing. So who cares what people think of you? But I was doing that. I was, I wasn't cute. I don't know how the only reason why I got in that magazine and I ended up on the cover and the centerfold, I don't know how that happened, was because of my boobs. I had nice tits, and that's it. And she did my makeup really well. The before and after, they're like, oh, isn't this the best before and after we've ever done? And she's like, oh, yeah, totally. I'm like, great. Like, that was kind of an insult. Like, you're so pathetic that we had to put so much makeup on you and do you up and to make you look good. And out of all the women that we've ever done, this is the best we've ever done. So they're really proud of themselves, like, oh, yeah, we... So it wasn't like a huge compliment. I was like, okay, thank you. It's very sweet of you. It was like saying, now you put a mask on your face. Pretty much that's what a lot of makeup is. It's like a mask on your face. Well, we had to put a mask on your face to make you look attractive, because all you have going for you is those tits. I guess that's what they meant. I don't know. So everyone freaking saw it. I didn't know at the time, though. So I was kind of like clueless. I was like, going to parties and drinking. I didn't know why this one girl kept attacking me. Like, she would jump me. Thankfully, like I said, I had taken karate, and that was kind of something. I went to performing arts high school. And one of the things about performing arts high school is they prepare you for theater or movies or TV. They prepare you for all of that. Mostly I took dancing. That was my big thing. I was like, took dance 3 hours a day, sorry. But they wanted you to learn martial arts and what have you, because if you were in a movie, you had to do it. They tried to teach you all that stuff that you might have to do, except anything that was really dangerous, so. And so I went to karate after school, and I learned all the basics about standing your ground, like the stance, the karate stance, which is really helpful. You bend your legs and you stand firm, so that even if someone tries to take you down, they cannot. They can't take you down. Your legs are firm. So, but also how to block punches, like boom, boom, like block. If someone's trying to punch you, go boom. You see it coming, you block it. But also like the stance. It's so that no one could get you on the ground. They could try. This one girl tried to pull my hair to get me on the ground, and I just wouldn't go down. It was like, sorry, bitch, I'm not going down for you. I'm stoned out of my mind right now. I smoked a big bong hit, but you're not taking me to the ground. Yeah, back then I used to smoke a lot of pot and have some beers, Okay, but the first time she attacked me was because her boyfriend was looking at me. And I had known her in junior high. We didn't know each other through high school at all. She was horrible to me in junior high, too. She was just... We were friends in 6th grade, and before school on the 7th grade, yeah, I went to her house first before we went to school that day. We were going to share a locker. The bitch had cut my bangs. Like, she put this, instead of cutting above the scissors, she cut below. Instead of doing this, she did this. So she had her fingers like this. Instead of cutting above the finger, she cut below. Instead of cutting below, below. You know what I'm talking about. Basically, my bangs were up to here, and they were like this. Like, check it. Oh my God. I didn't know how to fix them. I was like trying to use yeah, she did it on purpose. She cut my bangs on purpose. She fucked my bangs up. And then on top of that, when I was in 6th grade, I had a little boyfriend that we used to hold hands in the halls, and his name was Dane. But 6th grade ended, and I went to camp. It was a different camp. It was like YMCA camp. It was after the other camp that I went to, and it was this cool little camp, and I was seeing this guy named Rudy. And we were just kids. We didn't even do anything. When you kiss each other, you go, you see how long you could touch lips. There was no tongue involved, none of that. So I've seen Rudy. He was my new boyfriend. So I thought me and Dana broken up because we, school had ended and we didn't see each other during the summer. And so this is so funny. It brings back a lot of memories. So first day of seventh grade, bangs that are. This is how when my sister's like, "Oh, mom didn't leave until you were like 15." I'm like, "No, I was in the sixth grade when she left, and seventh grade she wasn't around, or she would fix my bangs because I have pictures of me after the fact with the same bangs." And I'm thinking, why didn't somebody go, you know what, let me fix those for you? If I had a mom, my mom would have fixed the bangs, or a sister that would have cared, that would have fixed my bangs. So that's total bullshit. I'm like, I think I know when my mom left. I have diaries to prove it. So I don't know why you're talking shit. Okay. Because she was the one that talked to my mom into leaving. So, that's, I think I talked about that last time. Yeah, she bragged about it. Yeah, I was telling mom we should, you should wait to leave until after this or before this. I'm like, why are you talking to mom about leaving your child? Abandoning her child. You're talking her into it so you could go party with her at the clubs? What the hell? Okay. So this bitch cut my hair. She cut my hair, but on top of that, she got the two boys that I had seen, and I wasn't the only one. Everyone had a little boyfriend back in the day. That's what you did. So she brought Rudy and Dane together. They walked up to me, and she was sharing a locker with me, supposedly. And they dropped my books on the ground and walked away. She did, in front of them. So she got them together. They stayed friends forever. I don't even know when they stopped being friends. But because of me, because of her, yeah. So we weren't friends anymore. And I was just sitting there in shock, what the fuck? She totally sabotaged my first day of seventh grade. So I didn't want to be friends with her ever again. I was like, this bitch is crazy. What is wrong with her? I tried to be friends with her again in the eighth grade. She tried to be friends with me, and I was like, I can forgive, whatever. And then she did the same shit. She sabotaged me, and she told everyone not to go to my bat mitzvah. It was the last time I was ever a Jew. Seriously, after that, after all of that, that's a whole other story. Okay, so she was a bitch. She was mean girl. She was very mean-spirited. She didn't want... The way she would sabotage people, instead of just not liking someone, she would become your friend, and she would completely fucking destroy you. But this time, this is when I came back from LA for a while. This is after, I went to college. I would see her at parties, and I didn't really say anything to her. I wasn't trying to be her friend because I was like, oh, I know how she rolls. She's a mean girl. She was known for attacking people. She was known for beating people up. She had that reputation as being a fighter. And I didn't, I was like, I'm not going to fight you. I was always friends with everyone. I didn't want to fight with people. And I'd already been there, done that in Philly. You had to in Philly. You had to. If you were walking down the street in Philly, somebody was going to fuck with you and you had to defend yourself. And so I had that too. Not only did I take karate in high school and all of that, but I kind of had that down where I was like, okay, I'm going to have to defend myself. So I'm, again, going on a tangent and going around in circles because this started because I did nude modeling. Okay. Let me talk about the girl fight. Okay, so I was at this party. I was experimenting a lot back then with drugs, not heroin. I never tried it because I didn't like, back then you had to shoot it up, or I didn't want to none of that. It was just lines. Coke was really in. So me and this girl named Jeanette did some coke, and then we went to this party, and I was just standing there talking outside, and it was Halloween, so I was in this slutty Domino's girl costume. And first off, this is the first clue that the magazine had come out. This guy came up to me, and he said his little brother was, a big fan of mine, and he wanted to meet me. So he brought his little brother up. He's like, hi. I don't know what to say, like that. And I'm like, hi, how you doing? What's going on? I had no idea still. I was clueless. And I had just done a line with Jeanette, and they walked away, and I was like, a fan? What is that supposed to mean? That's weird. And all of a sudden, Sharon, her name's Sharon. I don't know if she still goes by that. I don't know where she is. I don't know I don't know about her at all. She's not on Facebook. She runs up to me and grabs me by the throat. The weirdest thing ever. She was in a little clown outfit, a clown costume with her little friend. Um, she tries to strangle me for no fucking reason out of nowhere. So I was on coke, so I had a lot of energy and I was like all powerful. I pushed her really hard and she flew across the party. It was like a movie. She flew across the party and disappeared into the cloud of smoke and people. So it was like, bye. You know, I didn't see her again. It was weird. But then her little clown friend jumped on my back and tried to take me down. And I was like swinging her around on my back. It must have been funny. Like if I wasn't in it, it would have been really funny. And so I don't even know what happened, but she starts trying to punch me. And then I grab her and twist her around, and somehow I ended up on the ground, which is a no-no for karate. Like if you're going to have that stance, you keep that stance. So, but the punches weren't hitting me. You know when you punch in a dream and the punches don't make contact? That's what was happening. So it was like boom, boom, but it was like not hitting me. And I was like, and I kind of like picked her up and like threw her off of me, you know, like what you do with like a gnat. You're just like, just get off, you know, like. And then the guy that I ended up being with for the next 4 years was Matt. He kind of helped me up. He's like, what was that? I'm like, I don't know. So I didn't leave the party. I wasn't afraid of her. I was like, fuck them, you know. So that was the first time she attacked me. Second time, where were we at? We're at another party. Same thing, where people were kind of, the magazine came out, so there was guys that were interested in me only for that reason. And I started realizing that the magazine came out, and I was like, oh God, I don't even want to like go out or do anything. And Mandy's boyfriend was like, oh my God, in college, all the guys keep coming up to me asking about you. I'm like, great, great. I'm like, I'm just going to act like it's not happening. And I just was, what's the big fucking deal? Who cares? You know, you can't even really see anything, really. It's my tits, big deal. And I didn't want it to like stop me from living. You know, it was before I had anxiety, obviously. Okay, so she jumps me again at this other party. I was outside. First off, I was trying to be nice to her. Don't ask me why. I was stoned. I just took a bong hit. Back then, that's what I did most. I didn't really drink that much. It was mostly just smoking out. So we were in front of this house. I was going to leave. And she was dogging me out the whole party. And her boyfriend was like, hey, what's going on? And it's not my fault that her boyfriend was checking me out. And I didn't give him any attention back, you know. And I walked out, and I was in the front of the house, and she was out there. And I was thinking, why did she follow me out? That's weird. And I had a really bad vibe. Always go with your gut. And something told me to leave at that party. I was getting the bad vibes. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave now. And she walks up to me. She's like, hey. And I said, oh, hey, girl, what's going on? I said, you look great. I love your outfit. It's really cute. I don't even, yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, you know, at least we're talking. But I could tell I had a bad vibe coming from her. So I thought, I better get the hell up out of here. And so I was walking out, and I had gone with Matt's friend. Matt had gone to juvenile hall or something like that. I can't remember why. It wasn't juvenile hall. No, he was over 18. He had gone to jail for the weekend, and I can't remember what it was for. I think it was a DUI. And I don't remember, but his friend's like, let's go to this party. I said, okay. And nothing happened. It wasn't weird or anything. And so I said, hey, let's get out of here. He's like, I'll be there in a minute. So I was walking to my car, and some guy pulls up in front of me in a truck. He's like, hey, what's going on? And I think it was probably someone who saw me in the magazine. And out of nowhere, I get sucker punched from the side. And I was like, that one eye, she got one hit in. It was I got a black eye from it. I turned around, I'm like, what the fuck? So she starts attacking me. First, she hits me out of nowhere, sucker punches me, which is a total bitch move, you know? Such a pussy ass thing to do, you know? So I turn around, I was like, oh, you want some then? What's up? You know, it was so shocking, you know, because I didn't see it coming, obviously. So she grabs me by my hair and she pulls me into the middle of the street and she's trying to get me on the ground. And her friends, I had my car keys in my hand like this, and I stuck them in my, like that, you know, so the key was like this. And I was going to take my shot, you know, I was like, fuck this bitch, you know. Um, this is the second time she's attacked me. What the fuck? You know, I've done nothing to her. She could have walked up to me and said, you looking at my man or something, just giving me a chance to fight. But she didn't. She had to have her friends with her. So they were like kicking me from the back, and like they grabbed the keys out of my hand. I was fighting with them on one part, and then she was in front of me, but she had my hair. And so I was like, I'm not going to play her game. I'm not going to grab her hair, but she's not getting me to the ground. And so I was just standing, I had that stance, the karate stance. And she couldn't get me down. She just had my hair. And so she got one shot in. Her friends didn't get any shots in. They just tried to kick me. It didn't even hurt. And then some guy out of nowhere, and there was like a crowd out of nowhere. They just appeared. I think she told everyone she was going to like kick my ass or something. So this guy comes up and he picks her up and throws her off of me. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, go get the fuck out of here. He's like, what, you guys are going to break this up? And he goes, I come home from college to this. It was some college guy. And he was just like, you guys are freaking lame. He goes, and so he's like, are you okay? And he kind of picks me up and sets me on the sidewalk. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. I go, I didn't even do anything to her. He goes, yeah, that was bullshit, man. He goes, it didn't seem like a fair fight. She had all her friends there. He goes, this is so lame. He goes, she's so typical of her. He goes, I know that bitch. He goes, I know who she is. He goes, this is what she does. I said, okay, well, yeah. And so I just left. I got in my car and I left that guy there. I was like, fuck him. He was watching. He didn't even try to break it up. And so I ended up telling my boyfriend about that too. I was like, your fucking friend's a dick. He goes, oh yeah, totally. He's like, we're not going to hang out with him anymore. And so, hey, Jerry. Come here, Jerry. Come here. You want to come here? Hi. And so, this is my kitty. Okay. And so I just left and I said, you know what, that was bullshit. And so the next day I got invited to go, I got invited to go to Magic Mountain and I said, fuck it, I'm going with the black eye. So I put some glasses on and I showed up at the house where we're all going to go together. And they're like, I heard you got your ass kicked last night. I'm like, she got a sucker punch in, that's it. How did I get my ass kicked exactly? So I showed my black eye off. I'm like, one black eye. And she got it from the side. I said, that's it. I said, how was that getting my ass kicked? And I said, I blocked everything. She only had my hair. She didn't get me on the ground. Her friends didn't do shit. They were just like, their kicks weren't even making contact. They were just trying to get the keys out of my hand because they knew that I was going to punch her in the face with my keys, which she deserved. So I said, no, I didn't get my ass kicked. And so I went to Magic Mountain. Everyone kept talking about me getting my ass kicked. I said, where did I get my ass kicked? Where's the rest of the bruises? I said, yeah, you know what? When someone sucker punches you, you get a black eye sometimes. You get a bruise. I said, whatever. So I was just over it. And I said, obviously the magazine's out. It's going to cause me problems. Matt was like, let's go away to college. It was like 13 hours away. I said, hell yeah. So I just fucking took off. And I tried to find the magazine. Me and Mandy would go into different liquor stores and places like that all over. From even my LA friends were calling me going, okay, what's up? What, you did a magazine? You didn't tell me what's going on. You're on the cover of this magazine. It's all over. Everyone has it. It's like, great, and friends in everywhere. San Diego were calling me going, okay, you're a nude model now? You're doing nude modeling? It was a nightmare. And I was getting phone calls at my dad's house. I wasn't getting them, but they were like on the machine. Hi, what's going on? So you're modeling now? What's going on? I'm like, fuck off. Everyone kind of knew that I was, before I got boobs, that I was doing like bikini modeling. And, I was like 16, 17, something like that. So they thought I've upgraded to like nude. But I was on the cover, so fuck y'all. like. And we couldn't find the magazine anywhere. It was like sold out. And then I go, okay, when you get it in, call me. And we just never followed up. And I never, then when I was waitressing years later, they put it out again, which I guess when you sign a contract, they could do whatever the fuck they want with your pictures. And the guys at the bar were acting weird towards me. I was a waitress, cocktail waitress. And everyone I worked with was acting weird as well. And so one of the guys is like, yeah, I have your magazine. It's in my car. I'm like, what? So he brought me to the parking lot, showed me the magazine. There I was. And my big bush and everything. By then I had learned to kind of like chill and, like shave it down. But when I was a bikini model before, like I was one after too, when I was a teenager as a bikini model, it never really was an issue because the bikinis were full coverage. If you look at pictures of me from the past in those bikinis, they were kind of full, and I don't know. It never came up before until after the fact. And then I learned how to kind of groom. So I saw the magazine. I said, I will give you $50 for it. He goes, no, fuck no. I said, 100. No. 200. What the fuck? Give me the fucking magazine. I said, you could go get another one. Just give me the magazine. No. And so me and my friend Carolyn had planned to see him at a club. Is my hand in the way? See him at a club, ask him for a ride home, saying that we're too drunk, and asking him to stop at a liquor store so we could get cigarettes. And then we're going to steal the magazine from under his seat. But the plan never came into fruition because we never saw him at a club. So I quit that job. I was like, I'm so embarrassed. This is crazy. Don't ask me why. I was embarrassed. But people back then especially made you feel weird. Girls hated you. The boys wanted to be with you, but for the wrong reasons. And it was just a weird fucking thing. And so, yeah, I just quit my job, but that was it. It was, I didn't go to parties anymore. I wasn't into that scene anymore. I was just into working and trying to finish college. That was my big theme back then. And then I dropped out of college. Okay, that's a whole other story. Okay, so nude modeling. It makes me wish that I did just do Playboy. It took me 40 minutes to get back to this place. 40 minutes. So basically, I've been talking about girls, evil bitches. I think she shot me twice. That was the second time. Yeah, it was twice. That was it. That was the only girl that did that. The other girls were actually cool to me. They wanted to be my friend because with me came the boys. And, it was fake friends. There was that kind of thing. Or when they could, they would fuck me over in a heartbeat. But they didn't. So, that time period was very strange. But my boyfriend that, who I was with and when I went to college with, he ended up being very insecure and always accusing me of cheating on him, which I never did. I don't cheat. I just don't. I'll break up with you first. I'm not going to go out and fuck around. And so he was very insecure, which understandably, but then he made that choice to date me. It's like he knew what was going on and he dated me anyways, which was cool of him because most of the guys just wanted to like sleep with me and I wasn't having it. I was like, I'm not just going to go and just sleep around. So I had dated his friend before though. I had dated 2 of his friends in the past. So I didn't even know why he wanted to date me. But I wasn't sleeping around. I wasn't a big whore. People automatically assume that you are. And when he tried to hook up with me, like I think it was the second date, and I said no. I was like, no, we're not doing this. He's like, thank God. He goes, I was hoping that you weren't like slutty, He goes, because everyone made it seem like you are because of the magazine and because you dated a few of my friends in the past. He goes, I'm glad that you're not like that. He goes, you're totally nothing like I thought you were. And he goes, you're actually really intelligent. You're funny. He was like really cool. He was like the only guy that got to know me. And so I was like, yeah, we're together now. So that's what's up. We went away to college. We were like a married couple. We almost got married. That's a whole other story. Okay. So that was the magazine that I did. And then there was another one that I did years later. I didn't really do a lot of nude modeling, especially after that. But when we lived in LA, me and Mandy, I did some fetishes. You're not nude at all, but it's like men have certain fetishes, whether it's feet. So I kind of do that on OnlyFans. I do fetishes and stuff. Um, and I have no problem. If I have to be nude, I could be nude. It's no big freaking deal. I don't know why people make such a big deal about nudity. I don't, I'm not the type that will do toys or, ass play, whatever that is. I don't do that kind of stuff, especially on camera or in pictures or whatever. So, that's really big right now, and you really can't do much in that career if you want to go that route. There's really not much you could do if you're not willing to do that, which is unfortunate. But we're so extreme now in everything we do, and we're so like magazines aren't in. Nude modeling's not really in anymore. It's everyone does it on Instagram. Everyone's naked. Who cares? I get naked. I get flagged. Whatever. But I don't spread out and insert things. I don't do any of that. And it's not because I think it's gross or horrible, and I'm not bashing the women that do it. I just personally choose not to do that. And I did back then as well, because I got offers to do porn back then. Of course, everyone did. And I was like, oh, hell no. Like, it's bad enough that my bush is seen everywhere. Everyone sees. I'm still embarrassed by that. But I'm not going to go that far. I had limits, and I still do, and it's just one of those things. But it's not the same anymore. Unfortunately, it's just not the same. So yeah, I had OnlyFans for, I still have it, but I think I have like 6 people following me, and at one time I had like 30, and I think it's because I'm not doing those things. I know it's because I'm not doing those things. And I'm not farting in a jar and sending it to you. I guess some girl farts in a jar, and then she makes like $1,000 every time she does it. And then another woman has a beard, and guys have a beard fetish. I think there is a bush fetish. I'm not sure, but I don't even want to do it. But yeah, I was thinking of that. I was like, maybe I should just she don't really see anything. The bush is covering. And it's always kind of like what's behind the bush. I didn't even know women had different, everyone's hoo-ha looks different. I didn't really know that either. Now I do, just like with cocks. For when I was younger, I thought all cocks looked alike. No, everyone has their own little personality. Every cock has their own little personality. There's different types. There's different shapes. Everyone's different. So, yeah, that's my story about nude modeling and why I wasn't in Playboy. And it was a college edition. It wasn't like I was going to be, Pamela Anderson. Yeah, the women that got the centerfolds were like always big-breasted. I didn't have the fake boobs. I didn't have the blonde hair. I didn't have the look that they were looking for back then. But for college, absolutely. So I wonder about that. So let's see finish up. Let me finish my fucking story. It says, some may not approve of the life my dad chose, but my father was not a liar. Okay, I don't know why he's even defending this. He's only 30. However unconventional, it was a sincere in his approach and lived honestly. He was generously in his nature and caring deeply for people. These salacious stories are a case study of regret becoming revenge. Okay, there's a new series coming out on January 24th. The show features interviews with former associates and ex-girlfriends of the Playboy founder, who died in 2071 at age 91. Holly Madison described the atmosphere as a Playboy mansion as cult-like. The Vegas Diaries author, 42, lived there from 2001 to 2008. I did read her book, and it kind of grossed me out a little bit. He goes, the reason why I think the mansion was very cult-like, looking back on it, is because it was all kind of gaslight and expected to think of Hef as like this really good guy. Holly's World alumni, you start to feel like, oh, he's not what he says in the media. He's just whatever. He said it made him jealous and he would appreciate it quite as a job. So, okay. So they got $1,000 a week allowance. And you weren't allowed to date other men. That I read her book, and that's what it said. You weren't allowed to date other men. You couldn't really leave without him if you went out. You had to go in a group with all the other girls, and he was stingy, like $1,000 a week. To me, that's like, fuck yeah, give me $1,000 a week. But you had to sleep with him. You know, when you first, to determine whether you were worthy enough to even move in the house. And also, he made you fight over being in the magazine, being the, centerfold. He made all the girls hate each other and fight over it. I believe her. I do. I don't think she's lying about that. Other girls have said it too, and it's just kind of... So I think the first night she was there, they all went into his room, and he had this big round bed. I think it was a round bed. Might have been heart-shaped. Who knows? I think it was round, yeah. And I guess they had to take turns. Like, he took his Viagra, and then they took turns with him. They each had to, like, give him head or something, and they each had to, like, sit on him, You should read her book if you're interested in that type, of the Playboy story. It's actually a really good book. And I do believe her. She, every girl growing up back in the day had that fantasy about going to Playboy Mansion, and I never really did. I always thought he was kind of gross, and he did a lot of good things too. He wasn't all bad. But at the same time, if he just ran the magazine, let's say, and gave women that opportunity to express themselves, because his shoots were very artistic too, just like Penthouse and other magazines. Very artistic and beautiful, and they weren't raunchy per se. So if he just gave those girls that opportunity to do that, and he wasn't dating all of them and sleeping with all of them and making them fight over who's going to be in the magazine, I would have thought of him a lot differently. But I think it's like wearing the robe and, the satin robe and having those sleazy parties, and it just was a big turnoff. So I never really thought like, oh, I'm going to go to the Playboy Mansion. I want to be, one of Hef's girls. I would have never been qualified. I think if I would have gotten a boob job and dyed my hair and got a fake tan, I probably would have fit in. But I still wasn't in that league. And I wouldn't have wanted to be. It was... But those girls are beautiful, and, I don't look down upon them for doing it. Yeah. Everyone has their own path. Okay. So he's defending his dad. I don't know if the magazine still exists. It probably does online, I'm assuming. And I guess I'm going to have to watch this now. So you guys are as well, I'm sure. I want to see what's going on now. It starts January 22nd or something. So no, wait, it's past. Trying to figure out when it starts. Oh, January 24th on Monday. I don't know which channel. He thinks it's like women had regrets and now they want revenge. I don't think so. I think they're telling their truth. And so, my father was not a liar. Okay. Like every son wants to believe that. I don't know what they're saying he lied about, though. So I'm going to have to watch it to figure that out. All right, everyone. I'm so sorry that I went off on my tangent about Mean Girls. So, that was really the only time I've ever been jumped. And to this day, I haven't been jumped like that. And I don't know where this girl is, but I really hope that she's changed and she's a different person now. And hopefully she did. I ran into her, not lately, not recently. It was during that time period when me and Mandy had moved back to LA. And we were actually, we didn't move back. No, we were visiting Venice Beach. We were just hanging out, smoking a joint under a tree. You could do that then. I don't know if you could do... Actually, you can now because it's legal. Okay. Back then, though, it was illegal. But we were just, people watching, getting stoned. shopping, you know, because everything's really cheap on Venice Beach. You could get some really cool items, some hippie shit. And we were into that style, the hippie girl. And you could also get little pipes and bongs and stuff, even though it was illegal then to smoke it. So we ran into her. I think it was planned because Mandy had always been secretly friends with her behind my back. That's a whole other story. She's not now, but anyways. So we ran into her on the boardwalk, and I was like, I thought we were going to fight again. So I was like, all right. I was pulling my hair back. I was like, right on, let's do it. Let's do this. She's like, no, I don't want to fight you. And she goes, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for what happened. And I was going through a really bad time, and I was really high on drugs that night. I guess she was on acid or something. And I'm like, which night? You know, like, which night? You jumped me twice. Which night? So I accepted her apology. I was like, no, it's okay. I get it. You know, whatever. I said, it's the past. Let's move on. And so we made up. And then her friend, out of nowhere, we're in the bathroom in Venice Beach. Her friend Jessica decides that she wants to pick a fight with me. She goes, yeah, that ring, my boyfriend gave that to you, didn't he? I said, what are you talking about? Matt gave me this ring. It's our engagement ring. At that time, I had an engagement ring from Matt. We were still together. Didn't cheat on him. He was away at college. I came back to town to get into acting again, do some modeling, what have you. And I said, this is not, your boyfriend didn't give me anything. Who's your boyfriend? She's like, Jason. I'm like, I don't even talk to him. I don't know what you're talking about. So surprisingly, Sharon defends me. She's like, oh, no, don't even with her. No, she doesn't even know him. They're not together. I don't know where you got that. So I was like, that's a big shock. So I thought I was going to have to fight this girl in the bathroom on Venice Beach. I said, great. This is a setup. Don't ask me why I went in there with them. Especially her. You would think that I would know better. Weed affected me in that way where I just was stupid. It just immediately made me brain dead. And so I got out of there alive. There was no slashing, no knives. Then I ran into her again years later. And what happened? At a club, and I had like a fling with her boyfriend. This is when I was single. I had a fling with the guy that she eventually married, but they weren't together yet. And so she comes up to me again. Again, I thought we were going to fight because I hadn't seen her in years. I thought, okay, great. Pulling my hair back. She's like, no, I don't want to fight you. She said that again. This is going to be in my book. She goes, what happened between you and Mike? I said, nothing, really. I said, we hooked up one night. We never talked again. And he was right in front of us. He was like dancing. And he was nothing to me, but he was a fan of mine. He used to come to my work and sit there and watch me work with his friends. They were a fan of the magazine, me and the magazine. It was so stupid. And the only reason I know that is because his friend told me that. And so she, was weird about that. And I said, don't worry about it. I don't even remember the night. It was weird. It was just a fling. It was no big freaking deal. And she goes, oh, okay. I just was wondering because, we're going to like start dating and, we just start dating, what have you. I said, no, don't worry. Just no problem. And so she says, oh, thanks. I just want to know the truth. I said, because, he told me that you guys don't talk anymore. I said, yeah, he's right. He told you the truth. So they ended up getting married and moving away to Arizona. And I haven't seen her, heard from her since, thankfully, because I don't know. I forgive her. She was young. There was a lot of drugs going on back then. I was nude in a magazine. So, you know what I mean? I just hope that she's kind of grown out of that and she's a different person. And I think she probably is. The fact that she's not really active on Facebook and social networking and all of that, I think a lot of people hated her from what I hear. Anytime somebody would bring up the fights, they would go, oh, that bitch, she's crazy. She does this to everyone. So she has a lot of people that she's hurt. And so I think that she's probably a different person. People never are proud of that. You know what I mean? It's not something to brag about. Like, yeah, I used to beat up everyone for no freaking reason back in the day. So yeah, hopefully she's different. But anyways, I have no regrets about doing that magazine. I wish that I could find the magazine of me in it because those are my glory days. That's what's up. that was my 15 minutes of fame. That was it. That was all. So, nowadays, completely different. All right, everyone. Peace out. And let's talk about the show when it comes on. I would love to do that.